The time is almost right. So let us go. Of course, you're all welcome today's meeting. And it's good to see there we are some new and some old friends around us here. And today we're going to talk about, or listening to this session, we're going to talk about one of the, I would say, the best days or the biggest day for us at Light there. Rob, I would say that this is bigger for us than it was for you in 1995. Because that was the last time Ajax won the Champions League. So
not the latest, the last.
I'm not from Amsterdam. I'm from Rotterdam, so I don't care about Ajax.
I don't care about Ajax. I'm sorry. I thought everyone cared for Ajax in Holland, in the Netherlands. No, but this is a big day for us, and it's something that also comes back or circle back 5-6 years for us. We're going to talk about these new findings, how that is correlated what we've done with the Karolinska Institute before, and the conclusions we have. We feel that it was important for us to have this kind of a town hall meeting again in order to explain and also give our ideas of how to utilize this in the future. We're going to talk about the test, of course, and who have made the test. And here we have to actually give thanks to our birthday boy in Spain, because he is the guy that helped us to get in contact with Irsi Caixa. Mark, I'm sorry, my Spanish is not
it's correct
100%, but I hope it was good enough. But also the result, of course, and why does it work? We know that it works, but it's for some of us, it is actually quite hard to understand what really happens. So I've listened to my friend Frederick, and also going back to the 70s and trying to figure out how this popular TV show in Sweden that was called How Does the Body Work? It was a children's TV show in the 70s that was really popular. So I'm going to try to go back to that era and explain this. How does a virus work, and why does light there work, or the IonFlow, or actually the cell flow as well? Something that, of course, is important. I don't know all of you, but for me, I'm not a professor. I don't go around in a white robe. I am not an expert in virology. I'm in sales. But if we look what my education is, I'm an electrician. So, of course, I know about ions, because that is something to do with it. But that's why we have these kind of tests and the scientific studies, and also going back to the common knowledge that you can find in other studies, reports, publications, and add these together to what LITER brings to us. Brings to all of us. If you have any questions, I would prefer now, when we are as many as we are, that you send a personal message. You find it the chat window in the bottom of your screen. Send a personal message to Joachim, and he will take care of those questions, and we take it as we go. So let's go into the things. So first of all, yeah, instead of saying something else, we are taking the fight against COVID-19. Since a long time, we know how we neutralize it in the air, and it showed it in a semi-year study, but we needed these test studies from Irsi Caixa. And now when we show it, we do it both in the air, the surface. I would say this must be the best way to disinfect your home, or your school, or your offices, or any facilities indoor from viruses. Remember, we have tested against a number of viruses before. Now we're adding on these SARS-CoV-2 SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV-1. So it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're indoor. We have proof now that the virus are destroyed and can't infect any human cells. A little short about the Irisi-Kaiser. They've been around since 1995 and are in Spain, and they are part of supported by the Ministry of Health in Catalonia, and they are experts in AIDS, HIV, so they know, sorry to use this word, shit a lot about viruses and how it works and how to find drugs or protection towards the virus. I would say that they always work together with different other companies in the Catalonia or in Spain. And now when this pandemic enter our world, they rapidly start to work together with a number of hospitals to make a research projects about prevention, detection, and treatment of the COVID-19. So you can treat the COVID-19, but if you want to prevent us, you need to take care of the virus, the SARS virus. And detection we know that the test we're doing right now, but as much as I know, we have not found a pure treatment if you get it. So at this stage, we're talking about detection and prevention. They are part of now in Spain to find a vaccine, develop a vaccine against coronavirus. And this is of course done in their facilities. And the facilities, when you do this, it needs to be in a really safe way. It needs to be in a biosafety level 2 facility. And of course, if you think about it, if you're having SARS-CoV-2 virus in your home and would like to test this, don't do it. This is something they have to do in these facilities. And when we're doing this, we need to do it in a safe way. And it's the standard around the world is to use a pseudovirus, a man-engineered virus that mimics the actual virus you want to test. And the good thing here is, of course, when they test this in the lab environment, if something happens, they will not get infected. Because again, I will stress this, we don't have a cure for COVID-19. People are dying around us. So you can't test it safely in another way than doing by this. And again, this has always been the test standard if you want to find drugs or prevention against different viruses. If it's HIV, SARS-CoV-1, or other viruses, it's the same way you do it. What we did here, of course, is a test environment, and they took cells and these viruses, put droplets in different concentrations on the surface, and then they analyzed them. What's the population? How is the reproduction? How does it work? And then put on the lighter IonFlow product, and then they did the same thing again. And of course, would it work? Does it work? That was the question. And for us, fortunately, it works. And it do it by destroying, as we say, or we have said neutralized. Or if you're talking to an expert, they would say nullified. These are the same thing. But if you're going back to this test, putting the droplets of different concentrations of this SARS-CoV, this coronavirus, analyzing it and see it stopped the spread. It actually be destroyed. And if we look what the experts say again, we can look what Nuria said. Nuria is the PhD at Irisi-Kaiser that has conducted this test. The conclusion is that the form of droplets on exposed surfaces IonFlow technology has a clear inhibition of viral entry. And viral entry is something we're going to get back to. But this is how it works. I don't know how many of you know what a viral entry are, but for me, it's been this report has been a blessing in that way. I have now finally taken my time to study and understood why I'm in sales and not in the laboratory, because it's so complicated. So I've asked Nuria, tried her to send me pictures about how does it work, and the picture I got was impossible to understand. I know that some of you are much better than me in this, but I will take it from myself. And I know, Frederick, I'm sorry to say it, but I hang you out here. You're not so much better than me in the white robe area. You're the marketing guy and helping us to make all of this material that we're going to use in the future for this. But here, let's go. Here's how it works. And I will not read here because that becomes too complicated for me. So I need to take some coffee. So, you see this tennis ball? I need to put it somewhere where it's darker. You have spikes here. This is the virus. We all seen the virus is like a ball with spikes going out. These spikes are attached, sorry, it should be here, to this cell. And this cell is a human cell. It do the entry into the cell where it actually breaks up, start reproducing itself together with the cell's RNA and the proteins in the cell. And when it's there, it reproduces itself, multiply itself, become many viruses. And then the cell breaks, and those are spread out in the room. This was quite easy. Now, we go back to this tennis ball. You see the spikes here. Here, sorry to have such a big balloon. Here's the cell. The virus comes here, attached to the balloon, which is the cell, and then it breaks. And all of this, in this case, popcorn, would be new viruses are spread and can go into a room, and I can spread it to you. This is how it works. This is how you get infected and how you start to get sick, and the start of how you start to infect others. If we now look and try to understand what lighter does. Yeah, we're going back to this ball, and we're talking about how can we do this and talk about it in a simple way so everyone understands. Yeah, on the spike here, ions comes attached here. What it actually do, it takes out the hydrogen from this, and it becomes water. So this one vaporize and disappear. It disappeared. Now we have a new cell. We have a virus that has been, hit by IonFlow technology. So it doesn't have any spikes anymore. It cannot do the viral entry, which means it can't infect you. It's simple as that, how it works. And this is how we need to try to get the message out there. And if you understand this now, how I'm saying we stop COVID, or we stop the spread of virus, because it cannot reproduce. It's not that we treat anyone, because we stop it, we prevent people. And this is what I believe one of the most important things to get out to the customers, to ourselves, because this is part of us now and will be a part of us. And I just have this picture again. Yeah, we see Joachim in the background in an office, an IonFlow, and you actually see the virus vaporizing in the thin air. That is how it works. Going back to 2015, we had a study. I know that's something that you've all been sitting and thinking about, or many of you. You like numbers. Can I have a solid figure? How many viruses are dead, destroyed? We can't give you that kind of figure because this kind of test is done in a much faster way, in a simpler way. We need to put in much more time and effort. We have a 97% efficiency according to the Karolinska Institute. That took 7 years, cost 1.2 million euro. Now, time to market was crucial. But what we have shown, or what IRC Kajsa has shown, is we do it in the same way. It's not that Karolinska and IRC Kajsa do it in the same way. It is this way. It can't reproduce. And we're adding these together, which I think is the strongest evidence we have. We've shown in the air, now we show on the surface. In the air, on the surface. That is if there's only one thing you're going to remember from this meeting is because of this test of the of the COVID or coronavirus, we now, and we did it on surface, we now show that SARS-CoV-2 works in the same way. We nullify it, we destroy it. And two, we did it on surface, and we already had it in air. So that's a really strong and positive thing we have. And if we now start to get into, okay, how is this going to help us, or what is this infect us? Are we going to make a new product, or Roger going to Aruba, or what happens? Now, it's not much more than that. But we have the values in the lighter solutions. And I know that the most of you guys know more than I do about this. But for me, it is, we have the cell flow. I've been talking about IonFlow all the time now. But what about cell flow? Oh, we're only going to sell IonFlows now. No, but remember, cell flow is actually taking, there you can have a solid figure, 99.99 of this virus, because of the size and how it works. But we can add on one thing. It also have the high density ionization. So by that, we also know that when it enters here, sorry, using that again, enters here, what happens? It is dead. It doesn't work anymore. It can't affect you. So if you touch that filter when you clean it, don't bother, don't worry, it's dead. It's destroyed. And then we add on the IonFlow that had tested with 3 different viruses before. Now it had been tested with 2 more, SARS-CoV-1 and CoV-2. So we have that proof as well. So now we know how it works, how it will be tested. Now we're going to go into what does it do for us. Joachim, did you have something in mind?
Just this is not a question that popped up now, but it was in a previous conversation. We had a dialogue, and as we discussed this on the 2 different ways of approaching the same problem, the partner I was talking to had such a good way of putting it, so I would like to give that to everyone. So the cell flow technology and the IonFlow technology, they have the same mission. They want to prevent the spread of infection when we talk just about infections. And as most of you know, or you may or may not know, a virus is not alive, so you can never kill a virus. A virus is dependent on a host. So when it leaves your body, its only way of of spreading infection and surviving further on is to find a new host. A cell can multiply by itself, and a virus needs to find a cell as a host to do its mission and spread and go viral, if you like. So the two technologies goes about this in a different way. The cell flow technology stops the virus from traveling from one host to another. The cell flow technology stops the virus from traveling from one host to another. The IonFlow technology does not stop the virus from traveling from one host to another. It makes the virus harmless while it's traveling from one host to another. It destroys the virus while it's traveling from one host to another. So they go about it in two different ways. Cell flow stops the virus from reaching a new host. IonFlow destroys it while it's traveling to a new host. I thought that was a really simple way that it was explained to me, and I really liked it.
Hey, thank you. It's really good. Thanks. So now when we talk about this, okay, what is it for me? I'm talking about me as a person. Yeah, I'm not sure what the talks are in Romania, and in Spain, but I think I know. We're talking of going back to the new normal. But what is the new normal? For me personally, as a guy born in 1971, for me, it is, I'm going to have a 50 years birthday party when you're all going to celebrate me. When I can be on the stage, in my home, anywhere, with a lot of friends, and share a cake, have a drink. Will that happen this year? Yeah, I would say, for me, it will be a new thing. We will be scared to be in larger groups. As I said, I don't know how everything works in different countries, but for Sweden, we have, for example, we have not met a new friend for a year. We've just had 4 different other friends coming over to us, and we go to them. So the interaction, the big parties, they are gone. Going to restaurants, more or less gone. Children's play day, gone. Meet your grandparents, or the children meet your grandparents, gone. Meet your in-laws, gone.
That's a good thing.
But here, we're gonna get back to new normal, and we're gonna talk about it. When we get the vaccine, we will not go and say, okay, let's hug. And that actually is something really good for me. I don't like physical contacts. I still hope that people will stop hugging when we meet each other or say goodbye. But we want to socialize. So this, we're talking about, again, we need to protect or prevent the spread. And utilizing the IonFlow or the cell flow, you will do that. Different again, IonFlow in the air, cell flow travels through the filter. And this is something that we have looked into a little bit quickly now. We are doing some material for and Facebook ads that were sent out that actually worked, given sales. And we're going to share it with you when it comes to that. But we're talking about back to normal. We talk about stop the spread of COVID-19. Joachim, he talks a lot to different business, offices, schools, or all of us do it. But Joachim is the head of that business area. And what I've heard, Joachim, is that right now companies want to bring us back. Get your ass back to the office. In Sweden, we cannot force you. I don't know how it works in other countries. But I can't just say to Joachim or Eva or Martin, I actually told him to get his ass to the work, but it was to clean his desk because it was too messy. But otherwise, we can't really do that. And now we as companies or as individuals as well, we want to get back to a little bit of normal. I'm at home right now. My bedroom is 5 meters that way. I go in here, Go out in the kitchen, eat, go in here. Go out in the kitchen, eat, go in here, go to bed, go up. That's it. That's my life. Yay. It's not that we want to get back to the office. And our companies want to get back. How can we do that in a safe way? And Joachim, let us know, how can we do that?
I had a conversation just incidentally, just 10 to 15 minutes before this meeting, where I talked to Core Facility Management, which would be our biggest FM partner in the Nordics. And it was on multiple things. The reason they called me was they have 14 conference centers, I'm not sure what to call them, where they have big parties coming in for conferences, etc. And 2 of those are equipped with Health Plus out of 14. And now they want to equip the rest of them, the other 12 conference centers, due solely to this latest report. So that's really, really good news. But what the conversation then ended up about was how they are working with their customers to prepare for a responsible reopening of the office. And it's going to be a mix of different things, because it's going to be one way is going to be to pull the people in and give them all the things they've been missing, the social interaction. Maybe they increase the investment in a better, more exclusive coffee solution, new plants. So there are all of these things about feeling more comfortable in the office, but there are also pure safety measures, such as alcohol, such as partitioning walls, such as rules for how you act in the meeting rooms, et cetera, et cetera. And there they see the Light Air Health Plus solution as a cornerstone for a very responsible way of reopening the office. But they need many tools. But they place this tool very, very high on the list, even before coffee, on how to get people back into the office. So that's occupying these people day and night these days, because their sales has been going down dramatically when no one has been in the office. There's no coffee consumption. There is no need to clean, et cetera, et cetera. So right now, that's their main task every day, to prepare their customer for the safe and responsible return of their staff. So it was very, very much on this subject. And it was incidentally just 15 minutes before this meeting started.
For me, you can add on more if you want, Joachim, but that is summarizing everything for me. Why is this important? How does it help us? What value does Health Plus bring to the market? Well, now I would say added value. You want to add something more, or?
Not really, no.
Not really. No, and now we've talked about the test results. We talked about how we look at it. We talked about the back to new normal. I'm going to show you one slide more, and just think about it. Have you seen this before? What was Roger saying? What should we remember from this day? Oh, that slide. The vaporizing virus in the air. I said this is the conclusion. This is the conclusion that we can bring to the market. We have the studies, we have the proofs, we know how it works. You can buy a bunch of balloons, and I don't know, now it's not tennis balls anymore, now it's paddle balls. I don't know if it's a difference, but that's what we're using as virus. And you can do what I did, showing how it works in a simple way. Before we go into the Q&A, I will also let you know that after this meeting, we will put together some material, this presentation and the recording of this session, and send it out to you during the afternoon, I hope. We are using Funnelbud, and so if you don't have it during the afternoon, or please go into your spam inbox filter and check if it's ended up there, because this is a mass mail, so it's easy to be sent into that to spam. And if it's there, please see to that you change it to be a regular mail. So when the next time we send email from there, because we're gonna send emails about this from today, next week, the week after, and so on. about the small, large things. And just to know for everyone, if there is a discount, it will be sent on this funnel bot as well. So you better not see to that it doesn't end up in the spam inbox. With that, I hand over to you, Joachim. Do you have any questions?
Oh, do I ever? Do I ever? First of all, Mark is commenting here that a lot of companies, bigger companies in Spain, such as Coca-Cola and Airbus, are really putting up a date at this point of when to reopen their offices. And we see the same pattern. A lot of companies now are starting to discuss a date for the reopening of the office. So there are many, many of them. Another question is from Rob, whether we prepared a press release. The answer is yes. And the press release has already, due to legal requirements in terms of public information, et cetera, has already been sent out in Sweden. You will get the English version for distribution in your markets. And that's, but one thing about the press release, it fulfills the legal requirements of communicating this. So it's a little bit more shy than we're going to be in our marketing going forward. I would like to point that out, that the nice boys never gets to dance with the really beautiful girls. And at this stage, we have formulated ourselves very carefully up till this point around our efficiency against viruses, other than the 3 tested by the Karolinska Institute and reported in the Nature Scientific Reports. So our continuous answer when they say, so what's the effect on SARS-CoV-2? It's been found 97% efficient against 3 out of 3 tested viruses. So what's the effect on SARS-CoV-2? It's been found 97% efficient against 3. We keep repeating that because we don't want to make statements which we can't back up. Today ends that period. Today we can back it up with solid evidence that the effect on this virus is similar to the 3 tested viruses. A virus has a genome protected by a protein shell. This protein shell hates the IonFlow. We destroy the protein shell now of 4 out of 4 tested, and we leave behind the modesty now. Now we're aggressive, we're proud, we're loud, with a straight back. We talk about this in a loud way, that we're efficient also against the SARS-CoV-2. And we have the reports and the scientific data to back it up. All right, are there any other questions?
Okay. Then I will just have one more important information. You're going to get the video tonight, later today. And in Sweden, right now, the most popular show is Masked Singer on Channel 4. I will not look at that. I will force my family to listen into myself, pop some popcorn. Well, instead of popping a Coke today, we should celebrate the National Day of Gin and Tonic. So pour yourself a nice gin and tonic today and celebrate the National Day for that drink. But I will say thank you for now. Let's meet up and talk soon again. Cheers.
Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.